Private Marcus Webb stood at attention in the morning assembly on planet Velthera. His uniform hung loose on his thin frame. Around him, other human soldiers looked like giants. They had broad shoulders and thick arms. Marcus was different. He was small and lean. Sergeant Davis walked past the line of soldiers. He stopped in front of Marcus and shook his head. The other soldiers laughed quietly. "Webb, did you even eat breakfast?" Davis asked. "You look like a strong wind could blow you away." "Yes, sir. I ate breakfast, sir," Marcus replied. He kept his eyes forward. "Maybe we should send you back to Earth," another soldier whispered. "This is a military base, not a daycare." Marcus said nothing. He had heard these jokes every day for 6 months. Being the smallest soldier was hard, but he never complained. He did his job and worked harder than anyone else. The military outpost on Velthara was special. It was not just for humans. The Velhari lived here too. They were tall alien warriors with scales that shined like rainbows. The shortest Velhari stood 8 feet tall. They were strong and proud. They moved with grace and power. The humans and Velhari had an alliance. Together, they fought against the Kryn Empire. The Kryn wanted to conquer every world in the galaxy. So humans and Velhari stood together. Marcus often watched the Velhari during training. They were amazing fighters. Their culture valued strength above everything else. A Velhari warrior could lift 3 times what a human could lift. They never showed weakness. Today was special. Queen Sylvethra was visiting the outpost. She was the ruler of all Velhari. Everyone prepared for her arrival all week. The base was cleaned until it sparkled. Every soldier practiced their parade movements. Marcus stood in the courtyard with his unit when the queen arrived. Her ship landed with a soft hum. The door opened, and she stepped out. Queen Sylvethra was magnificent. Her scales were deep purple and silver. She wore armor that looked like art. Her eyes were golden and sharp. She looked at the assembled soldiers with the confidence of someone who had never lost a battle. "Welcome, Your Majesty," Commander Harris said. He bowed his head. "We are honored by your presence." The Queen nodded. "The honor is shared, Commander. Our alliance grows stronger each day." Marcus watched from the back of his unit. The Queen was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. She walked past the human soldiers. Her royal guards followed behind her. They were even bigger than normal Velhari. They carried weapons that hummed with energy. The Queen barely glanced at the human soldiers. Why would she? To her, humans were probably weak and small. Marcus understood. Compared to the Velhari, humans were fragile. The ceremony continued for an hour. There were speeches about friendship and alliance. Then came the joint training exercise. Human and Velhari soldiers would work together. They would practice combat formations in the training field outside the base. Marcus was assigned to supply duty. He had to stay in the supply bunker and organize equipment. The other soldiers went to the training field. This happened often. When important events occurred, Marcus got assigned to background tasks. He did not complain. He went to the bunker and started checking inventory. The bunker was underground. It was cool and quiet. Boxes of supplies lined the walls. Medical equipment, food rations, ammunition, and tools filled the shelves. Marcus was counting medical supplies when the world exploded. The ground shook violently. The lights went out. Marcus fell to the floor as boxers crashed down around him. A terrible roaring sound filled the air. It sounded like thunder that never stopped. Dust filled the bunker. Marcus covered his mouth and tried to breathe. The shaking continued for what felt like forever. Then slowly it stopped. Emergency lights flickered on. They cast red shadows across the bunker. Marcus stood up carefully. His ears were ringing. What happened? He climbed the stairs to the bunker door. It was jammed. He pushed hard, and it finally opened. Marcus stepped outside, and his heart stopped. The base was gone. Where buildings once stood, there were only burning ruins. Smoke rose into the sky. Fires burned everywhere. Bodies lay scattered across the ground. The beautiful courtyard was now a crater. Oh, Marcus whispered. No, 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 no. This was an attack. The Kryn Empire had found them. The orbital bombardment had destroyed everything in minutes. Marcus ran forward. He called out for survivors. His voice sounded small against the crackling of flames. He searched through the rubble. Most of the soldiers were dead. The Valhari guards were dead too. Their strong bodies had not saved them from weapons that fell from space. Then Marcus heard something. A weak sound. A groan of pain. He followed the sound to a collapsed section of the ceremonial hall. Metal beams lay twisted like broken bones. And there, trapped beneath a massive beam, was Queen Silvithra. Her armor was cracked. Purple blood stained the ground around her. The metal beam had pierced through her leg. Her golden eyes opened when Marcus approached. "Stay back, human," she said. Her voice was weak, but still commanding. "You are hurt," Marcus said. He knelt beside her. "I need to help you." "Do not need help from a weak creature like you," the queen said. She tried to move, but cried out in pain. "Leave me. Save yourself." Marcus looked around. The communications tower was destroyed. All the vehicles were burning. Help would not come soon, and he could hear something in the distance. A low humming sound. Ships. The Kryn ground forces were coming. "Your Majesty," Marcus said calmly, "the Kryn will be here soon. They will capture you." "I cannot let that happen." The queen looked at him. Really looked at him for the first time. She saw a small, thin human with determined eyes. "You cannot move me," she said. "I weigh twice what you weigh. My guards could not lift this beam. What can you possibly do?" Marcus studied the beam. He looked at the angle and the weight. Then he looked at the queen. "I can try," he said simply. "Will you let me try?" They called him the weakest soldier. Then he carried their wounded alien queen. 100 miles ##, part 2. The burden accepted. Marcus found a metal pole in the rubble. He positioned it under the beam that trapped Queen Silvithra. The queen watched him with disbelief in her golden eyes. "This is foolish," she said. "You will only hurt yourself." Marcus did not answer. He put all his weight on the pole. The beam moved slightly. He pushed harder. His muscles burned. Sweat dripped down his face. The beam lifted another inch. "Now," Marcus said through gritted teeth, "pull yourself free." The queen stared at him. This small human was actually lifting the massive beam. She used her arms to drag herself backward. Pain shot through her injured leg, but she kept moving. After a moment, she was free. Marcus let the beam fall. It crashed down with a loud bang. He fell to his knees, breathing hard. The queen looked at her leg. The wound was bad. Purple blood flowed steadily. She tore a piece of her armor and tied it around the injury. It would slow the bleeding, but she needed real medical care. "Thank you," she said quietly. Those words felt strange in her mouth. Valhari queens did not thank others often. Marcus stood up and looked around. He went to a damaged supply crate and pulled out a medical kit. He also found a map and a radio. The radio was dead. He studied the map carefully. "Echo Ridge," he said. "There is an emergency beacon at Echo Ridge. If we activate it, rescue ships will come." "How far?" the queen asked. 100 miles, Marcus said. He folded the map and put it in his pocket. The queen laughed. It was a bitter sound. "I cannot walk. And you cannot carry me that far. We should wait here. Kryn will be here in hours," Marcus said. He looked at the sky. The humming of ships was getting louder. "They will capture you. Use you as a hostage. I cannot let that happen." "Then go without me," the queen said. "Activate the beacon. Send help back for me." Marcus shook his head. "By the time help arrives, you will be gone. We go together, or not at all." He searched through more rubble and found rope and metal rods. He worked quickly. His hands moved with practiced skill. In 20 minutes, he had made a harness. "What is that?" the queen asked. "A carrying harness," Marcus said. He tested the straps. "I am going to carry you to Echo Ridge." The queen stared at him. "That is impossible. I weigh 400 pounds. You weigh half that. No human could carry me 1 mile, much less 100. Marcus walked over to her. Your Majesty, I need you to trust me. Can you do that? The Queen looked into his eyes. She saw no fear there, no doubt, only determination. Against her better judgment, she nodded. Marcus helped her into the harness. He showed her how to position her weight on his back. Then he crouched down and pulled the straps over his shoulders. He took a deep breath. Slowly, Marcus stood up. The Queen gasped. He was actually doing it. This small human was carrying her. He took one step, then another. His legs shook, but he kept moving. This is madness, the Queen said. Put me down before you hurt yourself. I've carried heavier, Marcus said. He walked across the destroyed courtyard. Each step was difficult, but he did not stop. How? The Queen asked. How is this possible? Marcus was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke. I had a sister. Her name was Emma. When she was 10 years old, she was in an accident. She could not walk anymore. My parents worked long hours, so I took care of her. He paused to catch his breath. Then he continued walking and talking. Every day, I carried her to school. I carried her to the park. I carried her everywhere she wanted to go. For 8 years, I carried my sister. She was my best friend. The Queen listened silently. She had never heard a story like this. Emma died 2 years ago, Marcus said. His voice was soft. The doctors said her body just gave up, but she fought so hard to live. She never complained. She always smiled. She taught me that strength is not about how much you can lift. It is about how much you refuse to give up. I am sorry for your loss, the Queen said. The words felt important to say. Thank you, Marcus said. Emma would have liked you. She loved stories about warriors and queens. They moved through the burning base. Marcus avoided the fires and unstable rubble. The Queen directed him, pointing out safe paths. She could see things from her higher position. The humming of cringe ships grew louder. Marcus moved faster. They reached the edge of the base and entered the wilderness beyond. Velthera was a harsh planet. The land was covered in red sand and black rocks. Strange plants grew in twisted shapes. The sun beat down with intense heat. Marcus walked steadily. The Queen could feel his heart beating fast. His breathing was heavy, but he did not stop. Why are you doing this? She asked. You owe me nothing. Your people and my people are allies, but we barely know each other. Why risk your life? Marcus was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. Because it is the right thing to do. Because you are a person who needs help. Because I can help you. That is enough reason. The Queen had no response to that. In Velhari culture, everything was about honor and debt and status. Help was given because of obligation, but this human helped simply because he could. It was a strange concept. They walked for hours. The sun moved across the sky. Behind them, they could hear explosions. The Kryn were destroying what remained of the base. Marcus kept moving forward. As evening approached, they came to a collapsed bridge. It had once crossed a deep ravine. Now, only broken pieces remained. The ravine was 50 feet across and hundreds of feet deep. We need to cross, Marcus said. He studied the ravine carefully. How? The Queen asked. There is no bridge. Marcus found an old cable hanging from the destroyed bridge. It stretched across the ravine. He tested it. The cable was still strong. I can rig a rope system, he said. We can slide across. With me on your back? The Queen asked. We will both fall. We might, Marcus agreed. But staying here means capture. I would rather take the risk. It worked quickly. He tied the harness to the cable with complex knots. Then he attached safety lines. The Queen watched his hands move with skill. Where did you learn this? She asked. Mountain rescue training, Marcus said. I volunteered on weekends back on Earth. Finally, he was ready. He gripped the cable and stepped off the edge. They swung out over the ravine. The wind howled around them. Marcus pulled them forward hand over hand. Halfway across, One of the knots began to slip. They dropped suddenly. The queen grabbed the cable with one hand. Her injured leg screamed with pain, but she held on. Together, they stabilized. "Keep going," she said. "I have you." Marcus pulled harder. His arms burned. His hands were bleeding from the cable, but he did not stop. Inch by inch, they crossed the ravine. Finally, they reached the other side. Marcus pulled them onto solid ground and collapsed. He lay on his back, breathing hard. The queen rolled off his back carefully. She looked at him with new eyes. The small human had just carried her across an impossible obstacle. He had not given up even when they almost fell. "You're stronger than you look," she said. Marcus smiled weakly. "I get that a lot." As darkness fell, they rested for an hour. Then Marcus stood up and helped the queen back into the harness. They had 90 miles left to go. "Let us continue," he said. The queen settled onto his back. For the first time, she did not protest. She was beginning to understand. Strength came in many forms, and this human possessed a strength she had never imagined. Hash. They called him the weakest soldier. Then he carried their wounded alien queen. 100 miles Hash Part 3, through the wastelands. Third day was the hardest. Marcus had been walking for 50 miles. His body was breaking down. His shoulders were covered in bruises from the harness straps. His feet were blistered and bleeding. Every step sent pain through his legs, but he did not stop. The landscape changed as they traveled. The red sand gave way to cracked earth. Dead trees stood like skeletons. This was the wasteland. Nothing grew here. The Kryn had bombed this area years ago. The land was still poisoned. Queen Sylvethra could feel Marcus slowing down. His breathing was harsh and uneven. Several times he stumbled but caught himself. "You need to rest," she said. "We can stop for a few hours." "Cannot stop," Marcus said. His voice was weak. "Kryn hunters are tracking us. I saw their ships yesterday. If we stop, they will catch us." The queen looked back. She could see nothing but empty land. But she trusted Marcus. He had good instincts. By midday, Marcus was barely moving. He walked like a man in a dream. Sweat poured down his face. His skin was pale. "Marcus," the queen said. She used his name for the first time. "You are going to collapse. We need to find shelter." Marcus lifted his head. Through blurred vision, he saw something ahead. Old buildings, an abandoned settlement. "There," he whispered. "We can rest there." He stumbled toward the buildings. His legs almost gave out several times. The queen held on to his shoulders, trying to keep the weight balanced. Finally, they reached the settlement. Marcus found a building that still had a roof. He carried the queen inside and gently lowered her to the ground. Then he collapsed beside her. The queen tried to wake him, but he was unconscious. She felt his forehead. He was burning with fever. She looked at his body and saw the injuries he had been hiding. His shoulders were raw and bleeding where the harness rubbed. His feet were in terrible condition, and there was a dark stain on his side. Blood. The queen remembered the escape from the Kryn hunters 2 days ago. Weapons fire had struck near them. She thought Marcus had avoided being hit. She was wrong. He had been injured, but said nothing. "You stupid, brave human," she whispered. She looked at her own leg. The wound was infected. Purple and red streaks spread from the injury. She had a fever too. They were both dying slowly. The queen refused to accept that. She tore strips from her remaining armor and made bandages. She cleaned Marcus's wounds as best she could with the limited medical supplies. Then she treated her own leg. The pain was terrible, but she did not cry out. Velhari queens did not cry. As night fell, the queen's fever grew worse. She began to see things that were not there. Shadows moved in the corners. Voices called her name. In her delirium, she spoke. "I am failing them. My people trusted me, and I am dying in this wasteland. I was not strong enough. I am weak, weak." Marcus woke up to the sound of her voice. His body screamed with pain, but he forced himself to move. He crawled to her side. "You are not weak," he said. His voice was rough. "You are the strongest person I have ever met." The queen looked at him with fever-bright eyes. "I am trapped, helpless, carried by a human because I cannot walk." "How is that strong?" Marcus took her hand. Her skin was burning hot. "Strength is not about doing everything alone. Strength is accepting help when you need it. You trusted me. That took courage." Found a piece of cloth and water. He cooled her forehead. "You think needing help is weakness? But it is not. We all need help sometimes. That is what makes us people, and not just warriors." The queen closed her eyes. Marcus stayed awake all night. He kept her cool and watched over her. His own body needed rest desperately, but she needed him more. Outside, strange howls echoed across the wasteland. Tracking beasts. The Kryn used them to hunt. The howls were getting closer. Marcus checked his weapon. He had a small pistol with half a charge left. It would not be enough against Kryn hunters. As dawn broke, the queen's fever broke too. She opened her eyes and saw Marcus sitting beside her. He looked terrible. His face was gray with exhaustion. "He stayed awake all night," she said. "It was not a question. You needed someone to watch over you," Marcus said simply. The queen sat up slowly. Her legs still hurt, but the infection looked slightly better. She looked at Marcus with something like wonder. "My own people would have left me to die. Velhura culture says the weak should be abandoned. But you stayed." "That is a terrible culture," Marcus said. Then he realized what he said. "Sorry, Your Majesty." "I did not mean no," the queen interrupted. "You are right. It is terrible. I have never questioned it before. But carrying you on my back and watching you risk everything for me has shown me something. Maybe we Velhari have been wrong about strength all along." The howling outside grew louder. They were out of time. Marcus stood up with difficulty. "We need to move now." He helped the queen into the harness. Every movement hurt, but he gritted his teeth and lifted her. They left the building and continued walking. The tracking beasts appeared an hour later. They were massive creatures, with 6 legs and armor-plated skin. 4 of them. And riding them were Kryn hunters in black armor. "There," one hunter said. "The queen and a human. This will be easy." Marcus ran. He ran despite the pain, despite the exhaustion. The queen held on to him and looked back. "They are gaining," she said. "You need to put me down and run," Marcus said. "We escaped together." They entered a narrow canyon. The walls rose high on both sides. The Kryn hunters followed them in. The canyon was a trap. It ended at a rock wall. Marcus stopped. They were cornered. He turned to face the hunters. He put the queen down carefully and stood in front of her. His pistol was in his hand. "Get behind me," he said. "Marcus, you cannot fight them alone," the queen said. "I know," Marcus said, "but I can give you time. Maybe you can climb out." "I cannot climb with this leg," the queen said. She pulled him down beside her. "Listen to me. There is a way out. I can see it from here. A path on the left wall, but it is narrow. You need to move fast." "I see it," Marcus said. "But they will shoot us." "Not if you follow my instructions exactly," the queen said. Her tactical training took over. "When I say move, go left 3 steps. When I say duck, drop to your knees. Do you understand?" Marcus nodded. He put the queen on his back again. His legs shook as he stood. "Move," the queen commanded. Marcus moved left. A plasma bolt struck where they had been standing. "Forward, run." Marcus ran. "Duck." He dropped to his knees. Another bolt flew over their heads. "Right, now, jump." Marcus jumped over a rock. The tracking beasts were confused by the erratic movement. The queen called out directions. She could see the battlefield from her position. Together, they dodged every attack. They reached the narrow path. Marcus climbed it. The Kryn tried to follow, but the path was too narrow for the beasts. The hunters headed the south. By the time the Kryn reached the top of the path, Marcus and the queen were gone. They had disappeared into the maze of canyons. The hunters searched for hours but found nothing. Finally, they gave up and returned to their ships. Marcus walked until sunset. Then he collapsed behind a rock formation. The Queen rolled off his back and lay beside him. "We did it," Marcus said. He was laughing and crying at the same time. "We actually did it." The Queen looked at him. This human had faced impossible odds and never surrendered. He had trusted her completely and followed her commands without question. They had survived because they worked together. "Marcus," she said, "when we return to my people, I will tell them about this. About you. About what real strength means." Marcus smiled. "Just get us to Echo Ridge first. We still have 50 miles to go." The Queen nodded. "We will make it, together." As stars appeared in the alien sky, they rested. Tomorrow, they would continue. And the Queen knew now that they would succeed. Because the weakest soldier was actually the strongest. And she would make sure everyone knew it. They called him the weakest soldier. Then he carried their wounded alien queen 100 miles Part 4, the breaking point 80 miles. Marcus had carried Queen Sylvethra at 80 miles. 20 more miles to Echo Ridge, 20 more miles to safety. But his body was shutting down. He walked across a field of sharp rocks. Each step sent pain shooting through his damaged feet. The sun was setting. The temperature was dropping. At night, Velthora became dangerously cold. Marcus took another step and fell. He hit the ground hard. The Queen rolled off his back with a cry. Marcus lay face down on the rocks. He did not move. "Marcus," the Queen said. She crawled to him. "Marcus, get up." He did not respond. She turned him over carefully. His eyes were half open. His breathing was shallow. She pulled open his shirt and her heart sank. The wound on his side was much worse. Infection had spread. Dark lines ran across his skin. He was dying. "No," the Queen said. "No, you do not get to die now. Not after everything." She checked his pulse. It was weak, but still there. She looked at their supplies. Almost nothing left. A little water. Some bandages. No medicine. The Queen tried to stand. She needed to help him. But her injured leg would not support her weight. She fell back down with a gasp of pain. Her own wound was bad again. The infection had returned. For the first time in her life, Queen Sylvethra felt helpless. She was a warrior, a leader, a queen. But here in the wasteland, she could do nothing. She could not carry Marcus. She could not walk. She could not even crawl very far. She looked at Marcus. This small human had given everything to save her. He had carried her 80 miles through hell. He never complained, never gave up, never asked for anything in return, and she had done nothing. She had simply been cargo, a burden. "I am sorry," she whispered. "I am so sorry, Marcus." She remembered her words from days ago. She had called humans weak creatures. She had said Marcus could not possibly help her. She had been so wrong. The Queen pulled Marcus close. She used her own body to keep him warm as the temperature dropped. She whispered to him. Stories from her childhood. Velhari legends. Anything to let him know he was not alone. "You taught me what strength really means," she said. "Not the ability to hurt others, but the refusal to give up on them. You never gave up on me, so I will not give up on you." Hours passed. Marcus's breathing became weaker. The Queen felt tears on her face. She did not know Velhari could cry like this, but the tears kept coming. Then, as the coldest part of the night arrived, Marcus opened his eyes. "Emma," he whispered. "Is that you?" The Queen held him tighter. "No, Marcus. It is Sylvethra. You are still alive. We are still together." Marcus blinked. His eyes focused on her face. "Your Majesty, I am sorry. I failed you. I could not make it." "You carried me 80 miles, the Queen said. Her voice was fierce. 80 miles. No one else could have done that. You did not fail. You are the greatest warrior I have ever known." Marcus smiled weakly. "I am not a warrior. I am just a soldier. The weakest one. You are wrong, the queen said. You are the strongest. And I need you to fight a little longer. Just 20 more miles. Can you do that? Marcus closed his eyes. I am so tired. I know, the queen said. But you told me that strength is about refusing to give up. You told me that Emma never gave up. So please, Marcus, do not give up now. She held his hand. His skin was cold. She squeezed his fingers. I will help you. You carried me. Now, I will carry you forward. We will do this together. Marcus opened his eyes again. How? You cannot walk. The queen smiled. Then I will teach you to walk again. The way you taught me to trust. She helped Marcus sit up. He groaned with pain, but she supported him. Listen to my voice, she said. Do what I say. Trust me like I trusted you. The queen began to speak in a rhythmic pattern. It was a Velhari meditation technique. Warriors used it to push past pain and exhaustion. She had never shared it with a human before. Breathe with me, she said. In hold. Out. Feel the breath move through you. It is energy. It is life. Take it and use it. Marcus tried to follow. His breathing matched hers. The pattern was strange, but it helped. The pain felt distant. His mind became clearer. Good, the queen said. Now we will stand together. Put your arm around my shoulder. I will lean on you. You will lean on me. We both are broken, but together we are whole. They stood slowly. Marcus nearly fell, but the queen held him. Her injured leg screamed with pain, but she locked it in place. They leaned on each other heavily. One step, the queen said. Just one step. He took one step forward. Then another. They moved like one creature. Each supported the other. When Marcus started to fall, the queen held him up. When the queen's leg buckled, Marcus caught her. It was slow. So slow, but they moved forward. As dawn came, they were still walking. The queen continued the meditation chant. Marcus followed her breathing. The pain was there, but it did not control them anymore. Tell me about Emma, the queen said. Tell me everything. Marcus talked. He told stories of his sister. Her laugh, her dreams, the way she never let her disability define her. He talked about carrying her to the beach, about her love of birds, about how she made friends with everyone. The queen listened, and she shared her own stories. Her childhood training, the pressure of being a queen, her fears and doubts that she never showed anyone. They talked and walked. Talked and walked. The stories gave them strength. They were not just bodies moving forward anymore. They were two people who understood each other. By midday, they had covered 5 more miles. 15 miles left. Marcus collapsed twice, but the queen brought him back each time. She sang Velhari war songs. The rhythm helped him move, but something was wrong. The queen noticed it first. The sky was changing color. Dark clouds rushed toward them from the west. The wind picked up suddenly. Sandstorm, the queen said. A big one. Marcus looked at the approaching storm. It was massive. A wall of sand and wind that stretched across the horizon. On Velthera, sandstorms could strip flesh from bone. They were deadly. We need shelter, Marcus said. We cannot survive that in the open. The queen looked around. Nothing, just flat, empty land. Then she saw something in the distance. Dark shapes, mountains, and at the base of those mountains, caves. There, she said, near Echo Ridge, those caves. That is our shelter. Marcus calculated the distance with blurred vision. 10 miles. The storm will hit in less than an hour. Then we move faster, the queen said. Come on, warrior. Show me that human determination one more time. Marcus looked at her. This proud alien queen who had learned to ask for help, who had shared her sacred techniques with him, who now called him warrior with respect and truth in her voice. He nodded. Together, they moved faster. The pain was unbearable, but they pushed through it. The queen chanted, Marcus matched her rhythm. They fell and rose. Fell and rose. Always moving forward, the storm grew closer. The wind began to howl. Sand started to sting their skin. Visibility dropped, but they could see the caves now. Dark openings in the rock face. Safety. Almost there, the queen shouted over the wind. "Do not stop." Marcus ran. He did not know where he found the strength. Maybe it came from the queen's chanting. Maybe it came from the memory of Emma. Maybe it came from something deeper. The part of humans that refuses to die quietly. The sandstorm hit just as they reached the caves. A wall of wind and sand slammed into them. They fell forward into the cave entrance. They tumbled down a slope and landed in darkness. The storm raged outside, but they were safe. Inside the cave, it was quiet. Marcus lay on his back. He could not move anymore. He had nothing left. The queen crawled to his side. She took his hand. "We made it," she said. "Echo Ridge is just above us." "We are here, Marcus." "We are here." Marcus smiled. Emma would be proud. She would be, the queen agreed. "And so am I." Outside, the storm continued. Inside, they rested. Tomorrow, they would climb to Echo Ridge. Tomorrow, they would activate the beacon. But tonight, they simply held on to each other. Two warriors who had walked through hell together and survived. They called him the weakest soldier. Then he carried their wounded alien queen. 100 miles. Part 5. The final miles. Marcus woke to gentle shaking. The queen was leaning over him. Gray morning light filtered into the cave. The sandstorm had passed. "We need to move," she said. "The beacon is close. Can you stand?" Every part of Marcus's body screamed in protest, but he nodded. The queen helped him up. They leaned on each other and walked to the cave entrance. Outside, the world was transformed. The sandstorm had cleared the air, and there, just 2 miles away at the top of the mountain, stood a metal tower. The emergency beacon of Echo Ridge. "So close," Marcus whispered. "We are so close." They began to climb. The slope was steep. Marcus fell twice in the first 100 feet. His legs would not work properly. The infection had spread further. He was burning with fever again. "I cannot do it," he said. "I am sorry. I cannot climb anymore." The queen knelt beside him. She looked into his eyes. "Marcus, listen to me. Remember what you told me? Strength is not about never falling. It is about getting back up. You have gotten back up 100 times on this journey. You can do it once more." "I am empty," Marcus said. "There is nothing left inside me." The queen took his face in her hands. "Then use what is inside me. I am strong because you taught me to be. I learned from you. Everything you gave me, I give back to you now. Take my strength. Take my hope. Take my belief that we will survive this." Marquess looked at her. He saw the fierce determination in her golden eyes. He saw the warrior queen who had learned to accept help, who had shared her sacred techniques, who had become his friend. He took her hand. Together, they stood and continued climbing. The queen sang her war songs. Marcus joined in with what voice he had left. They sang to the mountain. They sang to the sky. They sang to keep moving. 1 mile left. Marcus could see details of the beacon tower now. Solar panels. An antenna. A control panel. It looked beautiful. Like a promise of home, but his vision was fading. The fever was winning. He stumbled and fell hard. Blood ran from his mouth. He had bitten his tongue. He tried to get up, but his body would not obey. The queen crawled to him. "Marcus, stay with me. We are almost there. Just a little further." "Tell them," Marcus whispered. "Tell them I tried. Tell Emma. Tell her I did my best." "No," the queen said. Her voice was fierce. "You will tell them yourself. You do not get to quit now." She pulled him onto her back. Her injured leg could barely hold her own weight. Carrying Marcus was impossible, but she tried anyway. She took 3 steps and fell. They both crashed to the ground. The queen cried out in frustration. I cannot do it. I am not strong enough. Marcus reached for her hand. Yes, you are. You just need to do it differently. Remember what you told me? We are both broken, but together we are whole. Understanding dawned in the queen's eyes. She positioned Marcus beside her. She put his arm around her shoulder. He put her arm around his. They faced the mountain together. We crawl, she said. Both of us. We crawl to the top together. So they crawled. Side by side. When Marcus's arm gave out, the queen pulled them forward. When the queen's leg collapsed, Marcus dragged them ahead. They moved inches at a time, but they moved half a mile. The sun climbed higher. The temperature rose. Marcus was barely conscious. He mumbled about Emma, about his childhood, about stars and home. The queen kept him moving. She told him stories, distracted him from the pain. Quarter mile. Marcus's eyes were closed. He was moving on instinct alone. The queen guided him. She described the tower, made it real in his mind. We are almost there, Marcus. I can touch it soon. Just keep crawling. 50 feet. Marcus stopped moving. The queen shook him, but he did not respond. His breathing was shallow and irregular. He was dying. No, the queen screamed. Marcus, you do not get to die here. Not when we are this close. Not after 100 miles. Do you hear me? 100 miles. She grabbed him by his uniform. She pulled him forward with all her remaining strength. Her leg was useless. Her arms were shaking. But she pulled. 1 foot. 2 feet. 3 feet. The queen's hands touched metal. The base of the tower, she had reached it. She pulled Marcus up beside her. Then she crawled to the control panel. Her vision was blurry, but she found the activation button. It was large and red, impossible to miss. She pressed it. The beacon came to life. A bright blue beam shot into the sky. A siren began to wail. The distress signal was active. Help would come. The queen collapsed beside Marcus. She took his hand. We did it, Marcus. We made it to Echo Ridge. Help is coming. Just hold on a little longer. Marcus's eyes fluttered open. He saw the blue beam in the sky. He smiled. Emma, look. I made it. I kept my promise. You did? The queen said. Tears ran down her face. You carried me 100 miles. You never gave up. You are the strongest person I have ever met. Marcus looked at her. Not the weakest soldier anymore? The queen laughed and cried at the same time. Never the weakest. You were always the strongest. We just could not see it. I could not see it, but I see it now. Marcus squeezed her hand. Thank you, Your Majesty. For trusting me. Thank you, Marcus, she said. For teaching me what strength really means. Sound of engines filled the air. Ships appeared in the sky. Human vessels and Velhari cruisers. They landed around the beacon. Dozens of soldiers ran toward the tower. Medical team, someone shouted. We need medical here now. Medics surrounded Marcus and the queen. They moved with practiced efficiency. Commander Harris knelt beside them. His face was shocked. Private Webb? Your Majesty? You are alive. How did you get here? The queen held Marcus's hand even as the medics worked on him. He carried me, Commander. This human carried me 100 miles through hell itself, and he never stopped. Not once. The medics lifted Marcus onto a stretcher. The queen refused to let go of his hand until they pulled her away to treat her leg. Stay alive, Marcus, she called to him. That is an order from your queen. Marcus raised one weak hand in salute. Then he lost consciousness. 4 weeks later, Marcus woke in a medical bay. Everything was white and clean and quiet. He tried to sit up, but pain stopped him. His body was covered in bandages. A nurse appeared immediately. Private Webb, please lie still. You are recovering, the queen, Marcus said. Is she alive? The nurse smiled. Her Majesty is fine. She has been asking about you every day. She insisted on being notified the moment you woke up. The door opened and Queen Silvithra entered. She wore simple robes instead of armor. Her leg was bandaged, but she walked with only a slight limp. She moved to his bedside. "You're awake," she said. Relief filled her voice. "I am alive," Marcus said. "We both are." "Thanks to you," the Queen said. She sat beside his bed. "The doctor said you should have died. The infection, the exhaustion, the injuries. But you refused to give up. Even in your sleep you fought." Marcus smiled weakly. "Had to keep my promise. Had to get you to safety." The Queen took his hand. "Marcus, I need to tell you something. I have spoken to my people. I have told them about our journey, about what you did, about what you taught me." She paused and looked into his eyes. "I have proposed new laws for Velhari culture. Strength will no longer be measured only by the ability to fight and conquer. Strength will be measured by compassion, determination, and the refusal to abandon others. You have changed my entire civilization with your actions." Marcus did not know what to say. "I just did what was right." "Exactly," the Queen said. "And that is true strength." She stood and made a gesture. Several Volhari warriors entered the room. They were the highest-ranking generals and advisors. Behind them came human soldiers, including Commander Harris and Sergeant Davis. The Queen spoke formally. "Private Marcus Webb, you have been granted the highest honor in Velhari culture. You are now recognized as a guardian of the crown. In our language, we call this Veltora. It means the unyielding. No human has ever received this title before." The Velhari warriors knelt. It was a sign of deep respect. Commander Harris saluted. Sergeant Davis had tears in his eyes. "I am sorry, Webb," Davis said. "I called you weak. I was wrong. You are the strongest soldier I have ever known." These warriors and soldiers who once thought him worthless now looked at him with respect and admiration. "I am still the same person," Marcus said. "I am still small. Still not the strongest in physical terms." The Queen smiled. "But you are the strongest where it matters. In your heart, in your spirit, in your refusal to give up on others." She leaned closer. "You carried me 100 miles, Marcus. But you carried my people even further. You carried us away from a culture of cruelty. You showed us a better way. And for that, I will be forever grateful." Over the following weeks, Marcus recovered slowly. The Queen visited him every day. They talked for hours. About their journey, about their cultures, about the future. News of their survival spread across both human and Velhari worlds. Marcus received thousands of messages, but the one that meant the most came from his old neighbors on Earth, Emma's friends. They said she would have been proud. On the day Marcus was discharged from medical, the Queen was waiting for him. She wore her full royal armor. It had been repaired and polished. "Walk with me," she said. They walked through the rebuilt outpost. Human and Velhari soldiers worked side by side, building something better than before. The two species mixed freely. There was laughter and friendship. "You see," the Queen said, "you changed everything. Both our peoples see each other differently now. Because of you. Because of us," Marcus corrected. "You changed too, Your Majesty. You learned to trust, to accept help." "That was as important as anything I did," the Queen nodded. "We saved each other, Marcus." In many ways, I reached the memorial wall. Names of those who died in the Kryn attack covered the surface. Marcus found his squad mates' names. He touched them gently. "They called me the weakest soldier," he said quietly. "Maybe they were right, but I was strong enough when it mattered." The Queen put her hand on his shoulder. "They were wrong, Marcus. You were never weak. You just possessed a strength they could not recognize. But now everyone knows. The weakest soldier was the strongest one all along." Arcus turned to her. "What happens now?" The Queen smiled. "Now you continue being who you are. Continue showing everyone what real strength means. And I will make sure the entire galaxy learns the lesson you taught me." She handed him something. It was a small medal, Velhari designed. It showed a warrior carrying another on his back. "This is for you," she said, "so you never forget what you accomplished. You carried a queen 100 miles. But more importantly, you carried the weight of teaching to species how to be better, how to be stronger in the ways that matter." Marcus looked at the medal, then at the queen, then at the soldiers of both species working together around them. He smiled. "Emma would have loved this story. And tell it," the queen said. "Tell everyone. Let them know that strength comes in many forms, and sometimes the smallest person can carry the heaviest burden. Because true strength is not about the body, it is about the heart." Marcus nodded. He understood now. He had always been strong. The journey had not changed him. It had just revealed what was always there. The weakest soldier stood beside the Velhari queen and watched the sun set over the outpost. Two friends who had walked through fire together. Two warriors who had learned what strength really meant. And the galaxy would never be the same.